Alright guys and gals, so we are back here at home tonight. I have got to start doing some bundle wood. I've got spruce, popple for the majority. We do have some cedar in here, so I'm picking out the decent stuff and making bundles out of it. And then I've got my hardwood that's been sitting here over a year now. Yeah, and I'm kind of mixing it in. Now my whole plan this year was to keep this stuff for the front stand and basically just sell it here. But we got some new owners down at one of my gas stations that want to do things 50-50, and I'm not a big fan of that much at all, especially when it, you season the wood, you get it all ready, blah 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 blah. So it's a customer nonetheless, and it's still going to be, I think I looked it up, for one face cord of wood, I think it's 48 bundles if you do it one cube. I might have that mixed up. Either way, it's like $260, $280 give or take, still at $4 a bundle. He wants to keep it at $8. Last year I did all my cherry wood at $8, and the store took $1 or whatever it was at that time. And I'm not selling cherry firewood for $4 a bundle. Not when I was getting what I was getting last year for it. So I'm mixing up the hardwoods with a little bit of popple, a little bit of cedar, spruce. All right, so that is really sad. I hate to say it, I think that's about a half hour, and that might be a third of a face cord. And before I would think that's pretty good, but I mean, we basically take it from that pile, a lot from here, and then a little bit off the back side next to that John Deere there. But I'll bring you guys down. I want to actually go inventory and check out the other stuff we've got. All right, guys, so we are back down here at the original wood yard that I do plan on coming back to in some time. Problem with this one is we're in a hole. No matter the way you look at it. This is called, well, the whole place that we live here is called the valley. River's down at the bottom. The road is way up top. Okay, you guys watch this come in. So getting logs out of here has always been more of a struggle. Hard on the front end of the tractor. Bring the four-wheel wagon down, and then you got to reef it all out of here. So that's kind of why we switched up, went down to the property where the processor is, because it's one of the few flat places we have around here. So this is my cherry. I'd love to call it premium, but it's got bark on it, and bark makes smoke. So this is what generally I was selling at the store, and obviously I've got most of my cherry down where the wood processor is, but this has been seasoning for over a year, so it's not ideal for smoking except for the bark being on it. Gonna withhold a little bit of moisture, but that more or less was what I was planning on bringing there. Now this is going to be for the customers that buy firewood in general, whether it be the bundles or whatever I sell. I'm going to let them know, hey, I do have the smoking wood available via a little card. If you guys have ever watched Gets Firewood at the Furnace, he's got them. I'll be making them cards telling people to come and you know, get specific type of woods from me, not from this store. Although I do have a couple different accounts now that are looking at going the bundle route. So what we also do have is a lot of people don't care for white birch in their bulk firewood. You know, white birch is a lot of people think it's more or less like popple, and in a lot of ways it is pretty close. I mean, it doesn't sit long without starting to deteriorate and rot. So most of this will probably be going over the bank here. Like I said, we kind of pulled out of here in a hurry. Things started to go a little bit south down here with the swampiness and whatnot. So I still got to come in here, and I'm just going to bulldoze most of this stuff right over there, and then within a couple of years it'll do what white birch does. But we started down here, which I know a lot of you guys with a different channel, with this white birch, and we ended up doing chainsaw milling out of it, and I ended up getting quite a few slabs, and I sold them all for, I think it was $8 to $10 a square foot, or a board foot or linear foot, whatever you want to call it. So I made up pretty good with that, and that's what got me interested in it all. This right here is all elm, been covered. This has been sitting and drying as long as the cherry. And then over here we've got a mix of basswood, which is extremely light, even green, and maple. I brought down this maple. The one behind it, I was going to bring that one down as well, but we ended up finding an old tree stand in it. So there's a lot of nails and everything else. So this is another batch of stuff that I will probably bring the splitter back down for and make bundlewood out of this as well. I'm not so sure how basswood burns, but all the maple and whatnot is definitely seasoned enough. There's some stringy elm that I wasn't able to tear apart, so I figured I'd just burn it down here. A little bit of popple down there. But that's kind of where we left off with this. I did see there is some storm damage, definitely some storm damage down here. The big popple trees busted right off at the base, and the weirdest part about it is it's still alive. And it's split, it's severed and everything else, but because it's sitting in this creek, it's actually blossomed and went to leaves now, which is the oddest thing, seeing how that happened back in I think March or April, that last snowstorm that we got before we had any blossoming or anything like that. So kind of cool. It'll grow when it's cut right off. But yeah, so I wanted to kind of bring this to light down here. I'll let you guys know it's still here. I still have wood on the ground, bucked up and ready to be pulled. And now that we have the dump truck, once that's all registered and whatnot, because it's about 3-4 miles away from the wood yard that we've been working in, where the processor is, that'll come down here and harvest any maples that are split topped or anything like that, and we'll get all this open back up, and we'll continue with it. But like I was kind of saying, the whole reason for me coming down here was just to take another look as far as inventory is. That way if somebody calls me and says they want, you know, 10 bundles of cherry, I can say I definitely have it, you know what I mean? At least ready. And then there's more stuff to be split here. It's a mess. It's a mess. But nonetheless, I'm gonna bring this thing back. I got dinner, and I'm hoping, I've got a customer that is interested in a 14-inch slab of white birch from my old posting on Facebook. So I'm gonna end up taking this guy down, and if he does end up wanting it, I'll end up getting the chainsaw mill out. We haven't run that in 3 years or so, and we'll slab that guy up, see if we can't get some decent boards out of it, see how bad the rod is. But that's gonna wrap it up here. God bless y'all. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.